to Short Storyteller YouTube channel.
Hi viewers, today we listen about the original story, Little Red Riding Hood. In this story, the Little Red is escaped from unwanted strangers when she faced in his life. How she escaped. Let's listen to the story. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled on the edge of a great, dense forest, there lived a sweet little girl. Her name was Little Red Riding Hood, for she always wore a bright red hooded cape lovingly sewn by her grandmother. It was her favorite garment, and she wore it everywhere she went. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother called her to the kitchen.
Little Red, your grandmother is not feeling well. I've prepared a basket with some wine and cake to help her get better. I want you to take this to her, but remember, stay on the path and don't talk to strangers.
Little Red Riding Hood nodded obediently, took the basket, and set off on her journey. The path through the forest was familiar. The trees seemed taller and more mysterious than usual. As she walked, the sun peeked through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the ground. Not far into the forest, Little Red Riding Hood met a wolf. He was a sly creature with gleaming eyes and a hungry smile. But Little Red Riding Hood did not know the danger he posed.
Good day, Little Red Riding Hood. Where are you going on this fine day?
I'm going to my grandmother's house. She's not feeling well, and I'm bringing her some wine and cake to make her better.
The wolf's eyes gleamed as he heard this. He thought to himself, "What a tender young creature. She'll be even better than her old grandmother." But he did not show his true intentions.
What a kind girl you are. Why rush? Look at all the beautiful flowers around you. And your grandmother loved a bouquet to go with the cake and wine.
Little Red Riding Hood thought this was a wonderful idea. She thanked the wolf and began to pick flowers, forgetting her mother's advice to stay on the path. While she was distracted, the wolf hurried down the path to the grandmother's house. The wolf soon reached the grandmother's cottage and knocked on the door.
Who is it?
It's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I've brought you some cake and wine.
Thinking it was her granddaughter, the grandmother called out.
Come in, dear. The door is unlocked.
With a wicked grin, the wolf entered the cottage. He pounced on the poor grandmother and swallowed her whole in one gulp. Then, he dressed in her clothes, put on her nightcap, and climbed into bed, pulling the covers up to his snout. Back in the forest, Little Red Riding Hood had gathered a lovely bouquet of flowers and continued on her way. When she arrived at the cottage, she was surprised to find the door wide open.
Grandmother, are you there?
She stepped inside, and everything seemed strange. The house was quiet, too quiet. She approached the bed and saw her grandmother lying there, but something didn't seem right.
Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have.
The better to hear you with, my dear.
Grandmother, what big eyes you have.
The better to see you with, my dear.
Grandmother, what big hands you have.
The better to embrace you with, my dear.
Grandmother, what a big mouth you have.
The better to eat you with.
And with that, the wolf leaped out of bed and swallowed Little Red Riding Hood in one enormous gulp. Satisfied with his meal, the wolf laid back down and drifted off to sleep, snoring loudly. Luckily, a woodcutter was passing by the cottage and heard the strange noises coming from inside. He recognized the sound of the wolf's snores and rushed into the house. Seeing the wolf's bloated belly, the woodcutter realized what had happened.
I must save them.
With a swift swing of his axe, the woodcutter opened the wolf's belly. Out sprang Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother, unharmed but very shaken.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Woodcutter. You saved us.
We owe you our lives.
The woodcutter filled the wolf's belly with heavy stones and sewed it back up. When the wolf woke up, he tried to flee, The weight of the stones caused him to collapse and die. Little Red Riding Hood hugged her grandmother tightly.
I'm so sorry, grandmother. I should have listened to mother and stayed on the path.
All is well now, dear. Just remember, always follow your mother's advice.
From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood promised to always follow her mother's instructions. She learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of straying from the path and talking to strangers. And so, Little Red Riding Hood, her grandmother, and the brave woodcutter lived happily ever after, safe from the wolf's wickedness. And that, my dear children, is the tale of Little Red Riding Hood. Remember, always listen to your parents and stay on the safe path. You never know what dangers might be lurking in the woods. Hope you enjoy the video, hit the like button, and subscribe to my Short Storyteller YouTube channel.